the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2025 and its implications on the LGBTQ plus issue is a global concern. Therefore, the eye of the world is upon this parliament, the Parliament of Ghana. What we do here must be able to withstand any legal and constitutional challenges that are sure to come.
It is not a government of Ghana proposed bill. It is private members' bill. And so far as we are concerned, we have passed it. As for how he and the clerk decide to treat it, that I think is left in the hands of the general public, civil society groups who have been interested in having the bill passed. Speaker really is only appealing. He cannot in any way reverse what has happened. He cannot reverse what has happened. What has happened has happened. We have passed so many bills that same week.
Law that imprison people for their sexual orientation or who they choose to love does not protect society. A law that imprisons people for their sexual orientation or who they choose to love does not protect society.
To jail a person for his sexuality or her sexuality would not be the solution in maintaining our Ghanaian family values and ensuring proper human sexual rights.
Nana ya jantua ai presidential staffer
Dindo we dey mu baby me dey am me ba cho we me ba cho mu twem a we ebegu aware o because I no honorable for usuka compliment that be we dey ze mu twem mu dia enu na sustaining crop aware o ai nti no se mu na ya you don't support aware
na dinos ye mema ye tebia no da so ho o se la o se da o se no de mu yifrim sa no no kala on de ni ofwa speaker of parliament so mo sa fanko parliament.
Why would you exempt a journalist who reports? How would a reportage come under the offenses? How? By what stretch of imagination? And so what is...
So let me give you the stretch of the... No, let me give you the stretch of the imagination.
Let me finish.
No, the phrase is in the normal course of time. In the normal course of journalism. I just have 7 minutes to wrap up, yes. In the normal course of journalism. I think that's very clear. Yes. This is the normal course of journalism.
But what is done by a journalist? That is not in the normal course of journalism.
Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, confused be basa or Parliament yase. When I say a home match, Anna just say away match and say any more corner size wepe. Anti-LGBTQ Bill ya a human rights and family law value den. Billy na we ya Billy get say ya tu ya pass bill navy. I say quarter John Dramani Mahama table so. No assent. Pam komona ebasa. First of all, if Speaker of Parliament was na se minia na muditu. Na say debi o na say enyo ngwa no speaker. Who as a speaker? Your first deputy. Your second deputy. Inti adele unni wa house proceedings a call. Was that we me makachire mo say kwan bia so mo ya pass. Mimi ni o maye. Muntwen. Yantina say John Dramani Mahama na UK. UK for na Mahama Ayariga majority lebeka say omo parliament for be hu omo na anu ye. Say lawyer me pass mo hwe. Every John Dramani Mahama no so say mrani bi wo mu a montom bo ase kra na mo ye kakra mfirim. And I say na the MPP for be kan say any say mo ye ma mo di gunimo. I afraid say Reverend Tim for Johnny ne Afenyo Markins. And yes, we had the beam. And the Speaker of Parliament, I call it, Monfa Benembra for reconsideration. Mama, I got some more. ono wa paper ne say sune bill no o ma pass ya wie say ekodu president John Dramani Mahama ni ma so mo de be ko so mo fanko ba mo de be ko o mo ne kokodu wie no o si on sign bibi o mu a o mo ensesa na any house me decide so me sesa no mo sesa but so John Dramani Mahama so na do say on sesa on sign o mo the 2/3 of omo membership in parliament omo ye NDC for ebe ko atia John Dramani Mahama o ye NDC mu free and o be president omo ko atia na manasan I'm say wow for the first time who a political party are among themselves they can debate among themselves but where the first one they started from office of the special prosecutor Mahama Ayariga majority in parliament and the minority for crowd support here say yen scrap office the floor and John Dramani Mahama the president say they be muntu wase yen shemu kinamum yen se san yema wom and no ko die Mahama Ayariga be kan 10 e na NDC from headquarters ya trailer munhwe ye agenda bi ani ho a se mudi san komo no na yemfo aso yempene so aho na ekobisa Mahama say me gra me gas me ko biu MC dey na ekos fi anche na fififu ave kwate a we general secretary di ma NDC aso blast say refrafo na omuhu je se obi na se omanya stomach direct omanya bi edi a na omudi ju John we di Mahama Ayariga na okana asemi and no come about 10 agenda because Mahama Ayariga is in support of John Dramani Mahama. I'm now mumu ache na still na mutimi edi mabom sa because where there is a division mami and now they make a unye division no LGBTQ edi division no yaba na me de afenyo marking video bi tienie asemi no kan e enu na o trebe to ni post so enso na damfoni no so na imom no wa be deny say obi na hacking account am say papa oh ultimi nyina fa kunka asem da ba mia eye mra so ya afenyo markings we dia mia na melody campaign no papa ni ntimi nya obi obeti melody ba mia campaign ama no parliament wo da wo kan asem no audio e wo video e wo what's up trade the same thing uwie ya eno na ndisi for no ko against nga wasem granga bab enka ba mawie afenyo marking bo she no aba mawie na so ai wantimi wahwe asan o see a hacking account am say wo de obeka asem bia pa acho de bia obeka asem pa acho afenyo markings no be bia duru no sune ese jano ko ba me say division ba NDC ni mu ana say we no me affairs of the country on be say country ni ko yie enti na omo among even themselves omo jojo say enema enko yie magana for ana say broni power bi epushi sika bi every baby ba ana say ya me won mi say take another step and here some flies be nya no ensen ka view ka tell me e comment section na say ene LGBT nkomo no na say ene your first time subscribe like na share me nua enya bi say ha eye no krefi the naked truth I'm the truth teller max billion our old burger trends yenka bi shemu anka LGBTQ ya pass here be fine and the young gongotia ya say speaker of parliament Alban Bagbin say hey John Dramani Mahama kraka o say mo yi bi frum ti my friend say mo samra back me yi bi frum.
In the aftermath of the proceedings of the House on Friday, concerns have been raised as to whether the final text of the bill, incorporating all amendments agreed to during the consideration stage, was available to members in a manner that enabled them to fully appreciate the exact form of the final bill before the third reading and ultimate passage into law. I have also taken note of concerns expressed by some honorable members that amendments adopted during the consideration stage did not reflect the position taken by the committee, as stated in the conclusion of the committee's report, to which, and I quote, "The committee, having carefully considered the bill, unanimously recommends," unquote, "its passage to the House." Unanimously recommends its passage to the House. Neither did the proceedings of that day convey the unanimity nor bipartisan understanding upon which the bill was initially promoted and deliberated upon. What is right must be done rightly. Honorable members, I call on Parliament to rely on the provisions of motions and the conventions of this House to go back to this historic and important bill and reconsider it in the way that is truly bipartisan to conform with the convictions and confidence of our people, the initiators of the bill. It is with this conviction that I invite honorable members to reflect on whether further consideration of this matter may better secure the confidence, unity, collective ownership of the bill, and respect of our faith, laws, and passion of the nation. Accordingly, I respectfully appeal to honorable members to reflect carefully upon the issues raised and to consider in the larger national interests the bipartisan character of the bill, the unity of the House and the nation, and the need to maintain the highest standards of procedural integrity to revisit its decision on the third reading of the bill to permit a reconsideration of the final text of the bill and any amendments thereto.
What we do here must be able to withstand any legal or constitutional challenges that are sure to come. Speaker Alban Bagbin says, due to the global nature of the discourse on the anti-LGBTQ bill, Parliament must ensure that proposed legislation can withstand any legal scrutiny.
The Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2025 and its implications on the LGBTQ plus issue is a global concern. Therefore, the eye of the world is upon this Parliament, the Parliament of Ghana. What we do here must be able to withstand any legal and constitutional challenges that are sure to come. The bill has from its inception been presented to the nation as a bipartisan legislative initiative. Such bipartisan cooperation represents Parliament at its finest. It demonstrates to the people of Ghana that notwithstanding political differences, members of Parliament are capable of uniting around matters which they consider to be of national importance.
Hey, Nanya Sam George na koye interview say Uganda for be fa ye de to no say Ghana na Uganda na say Kenya po. Na say na first one no Kenya for say Uganda pass it. Ama na ye ana man pass the same thing. Okay, mo say eno no na clauses bi o ma en concentrate ni e koye ho report keke itimi beche no. Lawyer e ko represent obi a ye de ato no so say oye say onye eno so yetimi che no because ye fa na say on so kan obi. Enti sa na mani na no ye free dia then it sound better. Now it sound better and then all of a sudden the speaker who vowed say LGBTQ or no so basically free so as a speaker of parliament you be pass it. The president who said it's Assemblies of God man or no so your president with the bank one bill the bank one the obe sign no and no say man fan go back in the parliamentarians no and take a great bill and farmer and now say president any speaker of parliament after their few travels and provobi no makodi nkomo I shall say mama won in bias when you're comfortable which is which now as I say any independence in you among for those who control your sexuality among for those who control your human right but go control your check and get here and come meet me while shira na ma ware ma milk ya na nka ma ware 5 class aka ho na nka 7 oh na nka fa ana almost dey be 1:1 e ba ko ne mo fem pade o matwe za ma ye ene ya za ze follow ana ewie you say white wedding almost traditional marriage no ana ya yantu omo decide ma ya che ba yesinka we die ye film ye mpe enti je na asesa conversation ada na mamran sa tie according to majority leader Mahama Ayariga so hey and then the speaker is only appealing for us to reconsider the anti-LGBTQ bill. He cannot in any way reverse what has happened. And you say, Papa no achopa, any mumbrani and di hungomobu anaka. Now only to me the 2/3 of parliament are passed. The bills are passed. I'm saying, hey, where you in this to end this because speaker of parliament so in this need. I've done my job. I've moved for the anti-LGBTQ bill to be passed. As for whether it will be transmitted for assent or not, that is their business.
It is not a government of Ghana proposed bill. It is private members' bill. And so far as we are concerned, we have passed it. As for how he and the clerk decide to treat it, that I think is left in the hands of the general public, civil society groups who have been interested in having the bill passed. As for me, I know President John Dramani Mahama has said that if a bill is brought to him, and unless there are serious constitutional violations for him to seek advice, he will give his assent to the bill. If they don't send it to him, that one is their business, and the business of those who sponsored the bill. I believe that as for the general public and Ghanaians, they have seen that me as leader have done my job. I have moved to have the bill passed, and so far as I'm concerned, the bill is passed. And if they decide not to transmit it because they are not convinced about its passage, that's entirely their decision. Speaker really is only appealing. He cannot in any way reverse what has happened. He cannot reverse what has happened. What has happened has happened. We have passed so many bills that same way. And indeed, there was no rule that was breached at all. What he spoke about, which is the need for a bill to wait for 24 hours, is something that all the time we handle by a procedural motion, asking for abridgment of time. And if you go and check the votes and proceedings, you will see clearly that that procedural motion was moved and it was allowed by the first deputy speaker, and we moved to abridge time, and then that enabled us to take the bill through the third consideration. So there was absolutely no breach of procedure.
Okay.
So I'm even surprised that he's raising breach of procedure. Yes, the rule says that we should always wait and do all that, but we've always used this abridgment of time to fast-track the process.
That is their business. No, Speaker of Parliament, court clerk, as what the president said, bill in here, next time. In the say, business, naka. No, they will be in business. Where as a majority leader, Mama Eka Abra say, almost Americans that bill review. Now, Anti-LGBTQ bill, President Mahama has the right, when he sees the bill, to ask Parliament to reconsider certain clauses. But if we disagree and marshal our 2/3 majority, he has to sign it. And you almost always force Mama sign, and it is a Mama impeachment. Because to me, as a man sign. So or no, there was a clause be no pair. What my catch on, or him. But some guys they the mother banana okay. Only to me be this was sign. I'm saying, and the Ghana constitutional friends education. No, this was have a trade you. Sir. Legislation go for executive. Be there Ghana have been saying Ghana why that ni na LGBTQ na dia ba na minority for we nipa kuma we member do say na person we mother and mama we go for ya cause confusion I man be bia ye basa say na Rosin da Femako oni na na je ba for ewua member of parliament mama Shia South so local MP no on here Frank Amako here Ashanti first on say I'm challenge no
don't let us insist that Parliament did it. Then two, he did the subject to the Constitution. A person shall not procure, market, broadcast, disseminate, publish, or distribute.
Now, their point is that because of this provision, this shouldn't happen. And we are saying that no, even though you are saying subject to the Constitution, you have referenced the things that are subject to the Constitution. So when an allegation is made, you must then determine whether an aspect now in charging this person, whether an aspect of the Constitution will be breached, or whether it is permissible under the Constitution. If that is the case, the person is free to walk. But where the action is subject to the Constitution, is not saved by the Constitution, then the person will be in breach and will be charged accordingly. So, in making the exemptions, we had this at the background. How can anybody say that exempting this category of people rather waters down the legislation?
Can I come in?
Very briefly, because I need to hear the
first point is that.
Very briefly, yes.
Why would you exempt a journalist who reports? How would a reportage come under the offenses? How? By what stretch of imagination? And so what is...
So let me give you the stretch of the... No, let me give you the stretch of the imagination.
Let me finish.
No, the phrase is in the
because of time.
In the normal course of journalism.
I just have 7 minutes to wrap up, yes.
In the normal course of journalism.
I think that's very clear.
Yes,
this
in the normal course of journalism.
But what is done by a journalist? That is not in the normal course of journalism.
So I think, for example, what he says, if somebody opens a microphone and simply goes on a tirade, promoting and encouraging,
that is not the normal course of journalism.
And that
investigation will establish that.
That is distinct. And you need not make exemptions for it. Right. These many exemptions were foisted on them by the external collaborators. That's what it is. You see, we have the penchant of always pleasing the externals. And that is where the problem is. You see, look at the so-called exemptions. My brother, publication of academic, scientific, or medical research findings in approved journal. My brother, we all know that if you look at the Western countries, which has now come, the countries that have now come to accept LGBTQ activities. Previously, they had extensive...
Papa no, I said the Okikano, MPP, no. I don't know why John Mahama and Speaker of Parliament got material both sides. They're everything for Joka. They're Nanaje bar for AK. There's some of the MPP for Kano. Maybe there's an amendment in one. A lawyer representing, a journalist reporting, a doctor, a friend administration. Young fan say, "My small boy, now you say malam, a John Bully be, a coaching column minute, echo repeal wing. Omo memo, omo underage, and your mopel. Do you see doctor now by Hakolan? Honestly, gay. I like how. Young, yate, pastors or repeat, small boys. Reverend fathers, repeat, small boys. And this is a new yenim. Inducing the plan of best idea. Also, we gay. Yahu and ma, repeat Munyanko, Mamuyankola, Omudifali omo. And this occurrence say we need mammy in the Banoco Hospital. Doctor also lesbian. Me and send training. Mate says, ye, yachi gay for me. Anna me come my mom for say, hey. As I was in a senior area, I see a coach of nature say, ye, and yet to no more. And no, I automatically miss me again. Me, I'm you in Solomon, whom we say, they be saying fine. And the lawyer ni what is it? Me, I'm to ya, I'm Baba 20 gram pay. Yes, me again. Now, my coffee lawyer, and said lawyer be defending me. And the lawyer no go defend me no. Lawyer no so again. I like. Say, no, NPP for no say. Say NDC for now amend because first now the restriction I come in Nadia. Then I don't get it. Unless there's any amendment be a me mean can ya na me hu. Wa who are the full Friday catch them in comment section I say. But so we na we nko ade and next them from akọ. I say there who ye the ogu woni masiti jai. Na me di be we no. Afenyo Markins.
To jail a person for his sexuality or her sexuality would not be the solution in maintaining our Ghanaian family values and ensuring proper human sexual rights. Mr. Speaker, in the list, such individuals who get into our jails become worse off. Mr. Speaker, as a law student, in my final year at Makola, upon visiting in Sawom with my colleagues, it became clear that inmates were being sodomized. It became clear that people were rather getting deeper into that habit and that behavioral aspect of our culture that we dislike. I dare say, Mr. Speaker, that will be retrogressive should we insist as a House on a third reading with these incarceration provisions in the bill.
In 2024, February, Abraham MPP, and that's what power no majority leader. Ah, now you pass it bill, now we say, na don't sign. Chama say, "Mam fan room and cry, na me person me." You am fan room and the sign. That's why sometimes I get shocked when say MPP for the second say, "I don't want person sign." Na do sign, one sign. Tiye me say, "Mama nka CSO for no civil society organization ne aso for ne one for mama gasa." Enye mo MPP man sign. Mo sign yanke ye twem wa. Now, a law that imprisons people for their sexual orientation or who they choose to love does not protect society. A law that imprisons people for their sexual orientation or who they choose to love does not protect society. And there's a law in this country where a man marries a woman. If an away bema, a ware bema, now ba, a ware ba. Now, the argument be making sense, mame. Where that how they make sense. And they say all the Nipano go to prisoner as a student lawyer or visiting prison. Or we say most guys, suffer. I'm not gay for because go do no. Yes, do my own. I'm for motor by force and yes, they are not in agreement with that. But they don't have a choice because Nipano is powerful channel. Why are you bebo? You and for that reason, and so Omelo or Brenna Wanse. Now, oh yeah, and also, Ebia Bama no now no cover Bama no tono. Now, and ya dear on the crowd, be a bro thing, but because of lack of sex, our honor, and the only alternative, and they say to crew to crew, and the man from Ura, and the Yahubi movies severally. So it makes sense. And the only proposed one was say about cosum pony a pass a law now, and your communal labor. And yet some hard work be and yet different form of punishment. Nyempe psychologists be for money pano. And say na more do I here Ghana ha go pe psychologists. Nanka bia nipa no adekura na ema na kope bema as bema ana kope ba as ba no. Na ya 12 ni mu Yesu di mu na wadi to amen. Basa anya sa de a ye de omukwa koduru yi e de hokwa no mkwa ne mo. Am si no kore. Enti we no the first thing you are supposed to do is a reform in the prison sector. Why are your names abrofono? You have your conjugal rights. Say, as a prisoner, once in a while, you bet maba, you want pass special EBA or heart to say guest house. No matter no matter or you don't know. No, say we are going to prison. Abrofono, add no more money. How do you be a pay only review? Visitation of abrofono on prisons. How it is. Here, so you should be doing a reform in your prison sector, not changing entire the rule. When you have criminalized something, that person cannot just stay as communal labor. But where can you anchor what alternative? Anchor more than and come out and say no one I find they were good. I find the mighty minority. I find Kasa, they be a I find go here and what's up with to the social media handle. Now, opposite to the social media and the name of her, I found your markings and 5 minutes to cry. Oh, say a man for passion gidi. And I find can say, hey, baby. Dear Makai, and Yamina Makai. Name no winning. Hackers, and I hack me. My ex account, my Facebook account. I know my trailers I post, and I'm say, hey, I find you. We are sure because I've seen this post somewhere. The original on the page in the a law that imprisons people for their sexual orientation or who they choose to love does not protect society. A simple select a group of human beings and makes their existence a crime. That's a line no parliament in the civilized world should cross. And after say or no, we can't say verbally. Our parliament in 2024, Abraham people also. And on 2nd of June, and I know they were supposed to me movie, but on the 2 minutes grand me. And na papa no ediaba no the fake side at so say na accounts ya haja game say how possible. And I hack a bit market or S account or Instagram account or Facebook account. Aba. Papa. Hack ben. And you hack yes no 30 minutes 1 hour. Now I recover account. Hey. I feel we here say na say asem ya wo twere ya wo say nya no kan. What campaign 2024? And why can't you stick with it? This is why I'm calling for more MPP for now. Monganche Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. E ka we nkwa de Kojo Ponkroma ye. Because I've never seen Kojo Ponkroma bowing down say money we dey madi enti me pacho. Afenyo ma can catch the interior minister. Say obokro no our interior sector because recruitment now you know or evidence so this guy hey adetin you know pacho. You threaten say in the corporate committee adetin no pacho. I say Ebianka first time kebenya scandal under the NDC oguno. Afenyo ma can timi threaten say wo grace ayensu wo ba da ben bibia wa koye ntini ade position yama janitor ba hanya ne ade tie vetting no akopacho odi clerk atem so onye na dwuma yie onye se o favor den ade tie no apacho dia afenyo be kan bia no afenyo pacho dia afenyo be kan bia no afenyo be pacho na sa afenyo we nipa we tim because ono omu judge because what you obi say this is the case we in the all respect no you will get respect wait what he onya respect when catch them the afenyo mark is here ono onya respect ni bi and then na ma afenyo mark nkasa ontimi stand by the west adenti ana oka ontimi stand by the west ma de ye ni bre kra na mo de agora be fom na se ma say asem no ba ye fa bi yesire na ya jantoa presidential staffer or say what is LGBTQ no and also include say ye be ban dildos yentimi fa bi ma yentimi ye bi wa say ene mu nyai o say be gwa ware dildo we dey mu ya wonim ne dim be bi me dem fa be ba cho we mu kana na me so be ba cho mu twem a we ebe gwa ware o because no na honorable so so ka say compliment that be we dey so mu twem dia enu na sustaining crop ware o ma ai enti no se mu na ya so you know support and to be honest with you meaning unim say dey send the sustain to be honest with na dinos mema ye tebia no da so ho o se la o se da o se no de mu yifrim sa no kalo no de ni ofwa speaker of parliament so mo sa fanko parliament o se hwe amamfo warriors survive because of dinos ni kunu na ntima mu adwuma no kwa e de no da kwose bathroom na wa ye no hudu na ni en ko na ni wasoro ko Debi yes I worry be good because a marry be chiti. I'm saying tina yes nke ko worry ma mo ye virgin. Think a virgin time nka what in 1915 nka wa worry. Nka we case say no experience no be experience be ma de no. E be duro no ba ko fon so no. Ti wo be ko no this was akoto aso. Be me so nko pesika ma ye ja no. Otelempa musu no ogbodwuma na sisika na ma ye be ja no. ogonye sika no so ba na say adwuma obeba na wabre na sisi ya adwuma so eja no adentia but ose no pa de di doro mamo bande ene mu yifrim na we go so ni nai dien and esi what is truly happening then e cause sansem we e be me because afenyo marking the cancel or per se pass LGBTQ no now they per se pass but in 2024 now say they be me pass na as mo kan no wa betwere o say they be afede man kan ye fake the minority side no mo pede en mo per se pass ana mo per se be pass na ma yega say we so mo per se me pass nti ono mu ni consensus bia but speaker of parliament the president say yen san fan go back bill no yen hwem yi majority leaders on tiase why between omumi enu so no issues wo ana ka tell me comment section ase we are subscribe like na share ma unua eso enya bi ewe di no e ba ko pe max billion naked truth o Boga Trends Macau. Bye bye.